interesting. I love what Fabrizio and Ben Jacobs have done today, where they've said Liverpool are not yet negotiating for Caicedo. But that isn't what the news reports today have said. The news reports today have said if these two exits come, Liverpool could go back in for Caicedo. So suddenly it almost looks as though you guys were just sort of treading water in this window. In the space of a few days, you could be after one of the best young talents in Europe in Caicedo. And then two players a lot of players wanted gone out your football club as well. And £50 million being raised in the process. It could be really good few days coming up for Liverpool.
Yes, it's a fantastic time, for us. Terry, if I be a little bit crazy, I'm gonna get cancelled because I've been fighting a couple of people online because they've been doing Henderson Defense League and it's just been insane. You know what I find real funny about football fans? Sometimes we accuse our managers of doing something and then we end up doing the same exact thing that we accuse them of doing. I'm pretty sure Terry has heard himself probably 500 times on the Terrace alone. Klopp's problem is he's too sentimental. And then you've got people in our own fan base who's too sentimental. You're like, you can't sit up here and call Klopp sentimental and then you do the same thing. With the Henderson situation, look, the words of Tom Little, he taught me this saying, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And you want to hear the reality with Henderson? If he played one more season, he would have 100% became a villain because I don't know what lower level than this you could get. Like he is by far was our worst player this whole year. By far our worst player. Him and Joe Gomez are competing for the top spot for worst player. He has massively regressed from an athleticism perspective, which used to be his biggest strength. He's massively regressed from that perspective. So he just really can't help Liverpool Football Club anymore. And all this leadership, BS talk and blah, 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 it's all garbage, to be honest with you. I'll tell you why. There's logical reasons behind it. With all due respect, we're not an Arsenal where we've got an average age of 16. We've got Salah. We've got Wilson, Thiago, even Trent. All these players who have been there, done that. All the players who have been on podiums, all the players who have won a Champions League, won a Premier League, done all of that. And they can lead anyone in the entire world. I'm sure Mo Salah could lead any player that walks into Liverpool Football Club. I'm sure Alisson could do the same, and I could do the same. Using BS excuses is just very, 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 very confusing. And you look at the midfield, right? And logically speaking, all agendas aside, you've got Lavia, you've got, if he comes, of course, that is, you've got McAllister, Szoboszlai, you've got Jones and Bajcetic, and you've got, if he stays, Fabinho, 6 midfielders who are objectively, agendas aside, ahead of Henderson in the pecking order. From a business perspective, is it smart to pay someone 140 grand a week to be the 7th choice midfielder? No, it's not. It's completely the wrong decision to do that. And at the same time, he can't help me from football-wise. There is nothing Henderson adds to this team. Let's just cut the crap and say it as this. There is nothing he adds to this team.
The PR around him, I saw the headline around, if the captain of Liverpool isn't safe from Saudi, nobody is. I died. It's like you're not signing. If they sign Trent, then I'd be like, wow, the Saudi league is pulling in talent. They're signing, generally speaking, anyone that's in like the mid to late 20s, it's because no big club wants them in Europe. And they're signing old men. That's predominantly it, if that makes sense. People pass their best and everything else. The PR, oh my God, they're getting Henderson. That's like a massive scoop. I'm sitting there looking around my room thinking, am I the only one who's seeing these headlines as strange? It's very, very strange indeed. But yeah, it could be. What do you make of the? Obviously, there's a lot of Liverpool fans calling out Chelsea for taking money from Saudi Arabia, saying that it was dodgy and it was cheating and it should be investigated. Doesn't seem to be the same level of energy for this.
Lovely cushion header for Gerrard! Oh, you beauty! What a hit, son. Big up to Stevie G. He's had so many assists for Liverpool Football Club, but this could be by far his best assist for the football club. Best assist. Mwah. I love you, Stevie. I love you so much. Thank you. Please get this done so we can finally get this done and over with. This is all down to Stevie G. I think he's helping us again. All the way from Saudi, he's helping us. So big up to him. And listen, I think the Henderson one, you'd have a case with the whole, Chelsea Saudi thing. But with Fabinho, I think he could still give at an elite European club. I don't want us to sell Fabinho to begin with. I know you haven't really asked about that yet, but I don't want us to sell him. I think that's too much change.
I was going to say, do you feel? I've seen a few Liverpool fans kind of say that you want to get rid of Henderson, but if you lose Henderson and Fabinho, do you feel that there's suggestions that Liverpool will struggle to win the league because too much experience will go?
Yes, you are 100% correct. Whoever says that idea, I completely completely support it. Look, when it comes to the Fabinho situation, look, Fabinho was horrible this season. There's no need to like kind of change reality. I think bar Allison, there is no one who has kept his level or played at a higher level than previous. So with Fabinho, it's the same. Fabinho regressed. He had the horrible moments this season and all of that. But at the same time, I think there is something such as too much change. I think there's too much change happening right now. I don't want us to become, speaking of Chelsea, the next Chelsea. I don't want us to become the next club who just changes a whole lot of things and then comes out and goes like, wait, what's happening here? Like, this is too much change. I think we need players of experience who are in there. I want us to keep Fabinho, keep Thiago, and then we can really buy whoever alongside them. And that way you can, ease players in, start rebuilding smartly, step by step. You cannot go all the way out. You really can't go all the way out and just sell everybody, because then you're looking at an average age of about 19 in that midfield, and I think that's definitely a problem. I really want to skip Fabinho, and I think with Fabinho, I think he still has a lot to offer. I think Fabinho, of course, he's regressed a little bit, but I'd say comfortably an 80% Fabinho and 85% Fabinho is still maybe top 10 DM in the world, and 85% Fabinho. So he offers us a lot. And I'd really want us to keep him. And he's actually been run into the ground. Fabinho is one of them ones who I actually feel bad for because he was played too much. So he's been run into the ground. So I want us to give him this season, play next to Szoboszlai and McAllister with Trent inverted, so he wouldn't have to do as much work. And at the same time, with a better team all round and playing one game a week. I don't expect Fabinho to pull up in the Europa League. That's my thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. This here says from Chris says, why do every Liverpool fan think that every season they're going to win the league? They've won one in the last 40 years. That's from a United fan.
I mean, Chris, first of all, your super chat is wrong to begin with, because not every Liverpool fan thinks that we have to win the league. Tom Little thinks we're in a rebuild. I don't. We're both members of the Terrace, and we work together separately, and we disagree. So that's number one. Number two, you have to hold your club to the highest standard possible, the highest possible standard. And this is where I have been objective when it comes to criticizing my own football club, because I've got a couple of fan bases on the Terrace on lock. They just see my face, they automatically get triggered. Arsenal fans, United fans, like you, Chris. When it comes to Liverpool Football Club, I'm sorry, I don't have Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Salah, Diaz, Jota, all these players, Thiago, so I can sit up here and talk about, oh my God, I'm competing for top 4. This season, Liverpool Football Club was a meme. We were a meme. My face used to get clipped up by Sharik, who's a member of the Terrace, and he used to tag Terry every week to show him, look how Hussam reacted to Leeds scoring in the last minute. And this season, we were only 4 points away from top 4 anyway. So you're telling me I'm going to sign Szoboszlai, I'm going to sign McAllister, possibly a centre-back and another midfielder, and all I'm going to do is be 4 points better off? You're the one that needs to question why you're thinking so low of a football club. Not me.
My mixer's going weird again.
Yep. Echo.
It's gone all weird. It did this the other day. Now, if I take my finger off this button now, it's gonna go strange again. Okay. No, yeah, it is. It's gonna go very weird. This mixer broke the other day, and I managed to fix it, and now it's going very strange again. But yeah,
you remember Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Yeah, no, it does. It goes like that.
That's what they sound like.
I've ordered a new one. It hasn't arrived yet, but I managed to fix it. It's been fine all week, and now it's going strange again. But yeah, look, listen, it's rival seating.
Do you think Liverpool should look at winning the league next season, even as a United fan? Be honest.
If you don't win the league next year, the Premier League's been a failure of a season for you.
Thank you.
I think the standards that Liverpool have set under Klopp, if you don't win the league, it's a bad season. Now, of course, it's in Premier League. If you win the FA Cup, come second, get to the final with the Champions League, it's a pretty good season. But in terms of the Premier League, if you're not winning it, next year, City, Arsenal, Liverpool guarantee If either one of those three teams doesn't win the league, it's a bad Premier League season because of the
100%.
standards that they have set, especially Liverpool and Man City, because of the title races and trophies that you've won in recent years. It's as simple and as straightforward as that.
And speaking of Arsenal, I understand why Arsenal fans and clubs maybe of that nature, even your own fan base as United and other fans, talk about phases and rebuilds and steps and all of that. I get that. Because you just don't have players like who at Man United, maybe besides Casemiro, is like of Salah's level or Van Dijk, blah, blah, blah. Like on paper, the team's there. On paper, the manager's there. And now if I'm signing these new players in, why should I sit up here and come on the terrace in front of all these people watching and go like, hey guys, we're gonna get top 4? Like how's that like some sort of unbelievable thing? And by the way, furthermore, we don't even need top 4. We finish 5th. We get Champions League football.
Yeah. It's this comment here says, why would they have to win when they aren't the best team? But this is the point. You can judge a team in isolation of one season, but that really isn't. You can judge a season and go, how good was Liverpool's season last year? And you can judge that in isolation. You wouldn't let last season's campaign trump all the other years of Jurgen Klopp, but you judge a football club on how they perform, the transfer window, how they behave on and off the pitch. And if Liverpool haven't been building and preparing their squad over the past few years to be ready to win the league every year, then that's a problem. If you don't think they're good enough, then they've already failed. That's the point. It's a case of if Liverpool, with the standards they've set with Klopp, are not challenging for that Prem and don't win that Prem, they've had a bad season. So if your view here from Trav, like if you think there's no way they're good enough to win it, there's no way they're winning it, Liverpool have already failed, especially from where they were just a season and just the season before last, where they nearly won a quad. So for me, Liverpool City, with the standards they've set, managers they've got, the money they've invested, they should be trying to win that league every single year. And if they looked at it as no chance because they haven't built a good enough squad, that's an even bigger problem than me predicting that they should be trying to win the league. In my personal view.
And sorry, can you put up his new comment? 1 title in 30 years, that one? Because you see, certain people like Travelli, first of all, I rebutted you, Terry rebutted you. Are you just going to be wrong and strong about things? You see how I know you're not listening. Sometimes listen to understand, don't listen to respond. I like having a go at people in the comments who do shit like this because they don't listen to understand. My brother, has Klopp been the manager for 30 years? We're clearly talking about when Klopp's been manager. Who gives a fuck about, all Roy Hodgson and Benitez and the managers from 30 years ago? We're talking about right here, right now. Right here, right now, we've got the second best team in the country, the second best manager in the country, and we've strengthened, and we don't have Champions League football, which means we're going to play 1 game a week. You're telling me standards under Klopp, Travarelli. Obviously, we didn't have the same standards under Benitez or Rodgers or Hodgson. If you met me 10 years ago, I would have been like, make us a consistent Champions League club.